You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where we are here to talk about one of the biggest sporting mismatches in history. No, Max, I'm not talking about Anthony Joshua v Jake Paul. I'm talking about England v Australia. Fourth day, third test at Adelaide. But silver lining, if you're an England fan, silver lining is, as we predicted yesterday, they did make it to day 5, or they have made it to day 5. They are in a scenario where they need to score 200 runs for the last 4 wickets to establish victory. Otherwise, Australia will be claiming the urn. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Max Roy Brown. How are you doing, Max, on this wonderful Saturday morning?
Hello. Yeah, not too bad, thanks. I was wondering how long it was going to take to make a Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul mismatch reference to in relation to the cricket. You got in there straight away, so well done. What do you think is more of a surprise if we're going to continue that theme? Jake Paul making it to 6 rounds or England making it to 5 days?
I thought that Jake Paul would last a few rounds. He would just basically
run around.
I've not seen what happened, but I read the report that he just ran away from Anthony Joshua for 4 rounds and then eventually started getting beaten up.
Pretty sensible way to approach it, to be honest. If I were in a ring with Anthony Joshua, I would probably just run away from him as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder: is there something that the England cricket team could learn from Jake Paul?
Just leave the Ashes unfinished.
yeah. Maybe at the MCG, just sort of run around the outfield, refuse to bowl. Zach Crawley tried his game delay thing just before lunch.
Yep.
And it worked. He managed to prevent there being a third over. But we'll workshop that idea. I would say workshop that idea if you're England. Look, if you are listening here, make sure you click the like and subscribe on whichever platform you're listening or watching on. We keep banging on about these Spotify reviews. We are now fewer than 25 reviews away from Shane Warne. If you haven't done that yet, please do head over there. Click the 5-star button, obviously. Helps out there. And on any other platform as well, click like, subscribe. And this whole machine is driven by interactions. And before AI takes your job, what you should do is help out Max and I by getting one over on the machines, interacting loads with the Cricket Podcast, and tricking AI into thinking that we're amazing. Well, yeah.
I mean, alternatively, it'd be good if we were just amazing as well.
Well, I think we kind of are amazing, but the whole thing is about tricking. Like the whole business that we're in, Max, is effectively how do you trick the computer to think you're the most amazing. Anyway, what happened in the cricket? I'm going to go grab my coffee off the side, so I should disappear from the window, but I will be listening.
Okay. So, yes, day 4 underway, and England were left with the enviable task of first ending the Australia innings, and then seeing whatever they could chase down. And to be fair to England, they started pretty well. Once they got rid of Travis Head, who was looking pretty belligerent as always, and he skied one up in the air to Josh Tongue. England did a very, very good job of wrapping up the rest of the wickets. They bowled well. They got their plans right. They snaffled Alex Carey down the leg side with some rarely seen leg slip action, which is always nice. Josh Inglis nicked off, and they wrapped it all up in double quick time, which left 2 camps of thought, I suppose. One was, England really can lose this today, and the slightly more copium-related version of maybe, just maybe, they could do something really spectacular. The second became much less likely when Ben Duckett inexplicably just nicked one off stump for no reason to leave England 4 for 1. But then, after Ollie Pope was inevitably out to a wonder catch from Labuschagne, Zach Crawley and Joe Root got things back on track. They dragged England to 109 for 2 before the inevitable wicket of Pat Cummins and his bunny. But they kept going. Harry Brook came in. He was looking all right alongside Zach Crawley as well. Just the second time those two have batted together in test matches, because that's ridiculous. And maybe, just maybe, people were daring to dream of a great escape, the most unlikely of unlikely turnarounds, with England 177 for 3, chasing down 420. Maybe it could happen. And then all of the inevitabilities of cricket came to pass with Harry Brook being out playing a weird-looking shot, Ben Stokes getting done by a good bit of off-spin, and Zach Crawley getting stumped for no reason. And England fall to spin again. Nathan Lyon proving to be the well, maybe not the match winner, but the man to put the final nail in the coffin. And as you say, we ended the day 207 for 6. England needing more than 200 more to win with just the 4 wickets left in hand. No Ben Stokes to provide a miracle recovery. So it's down to Jamie Smith and Will Jacks. Score 100 each, and England are back in it. Easily done. Tomorrow's going to be a great day.
Well, look, they've made the game simple. They've made the game simple, Max. As you say, score 100 each and win. Not only win, be heroes. Probably be carried off the pitch by all the support staff of the Barmy Army, chanting your name, which is, I imagine, the dream, isn't it? It's a weird, not a weird day. I mean, it was actually a very normal day of Test cricket.
Where England played quite well and were competitive.
If you were going to look up what a normal day of Test cricket looks like, through history, something like this is about it. Like a team gets a breakthrough early in the day, the ball's moving around a little bit. Second new ball comes, they wrap up the tail of the opposition for about the number of runs, that maybe even slightly fewer runs than they should have. Looking at the game state, though, it's clear they're not as good as the opposition. They battle away, 200 for 6. Not a bad effort at the end of the day. Like it's quite normal. What was slightly weird, what made me think it was a little bit weird, was that despite England being in careful mode all day, they still managed to lose some of the wackiest wickets of all time.
I know.
Out stumped on 83. You've got, what is it? Well, how many centuries has he got? About 4 centuries in a million innings. This is the goal.
I think he's got as well as being a guy who gets loads of ducks, and then the I don't know, the conventional wisdom being that if he doesn't get a duck, he gets loads of runs. He also apparently has the second worst conversion rate of 50s to 100s in Test cricket. So
really well.
The only opening batter in history to play 100 tests and not make 3,000 runs or something, opening the batting.
100 innings.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, stunning. Really good.
Yeah, so that was odd. Harry Brook, again, I'm not even sure, to be honest, it was necessarily a bad decision what he was doing. Like, I can see why you would want to try and stop Nathan Lyon bowling in the exact area that he would want to bowl to get you out. But the way that he then ends up sort of falling over, looking like a 5-legged crab, bowled around his legs, it just looked weird. England managed to make a pretty normal day look quite weird. I don't think
kudos to them for that.
Yeah, here's a question: do you think they ever realistically had a chance of actually winning this Test match? Not in the 3 previous days where we lambasted them. I mean, today.
From today.
Yeah.
No, not really. I think there's always like this. I think there's less of it now, especially in Australia. But I think you saw some of the in the series against India in the summer we were questioning whether India batted on too long at one point, and the answer was no in the end. But there was, still a feeling that maybe there was a fear in there, and they batted on to get a much bigger lead than they realistically needed to. All borne out the fact that England in the past have pulled off these ridiculous chases and kind of do have the players that can do that. And the pitch was still flat, but I think it was always going to be a case of, if England even got close at some point, either the second new ball or Nathan Lyon was going to come in and do the damage. And so I never really believed that England had any shred of hope of winning it. But I mean, for a moment they gave it a decent go, and then Nathan Lyon did what I expected he would do.
Yeah, but well, there's some good stuff from the Australians again. I mean, it was probably a day that, on balance, we were scoring days at one point just to give England fans some hope. I think England won today.
They won 2 sessions out of 3.
Yeah. I'd say England won today, but there was still some really, really good moments from the Australian. And Lyons bowled an excellent spell there to keep driving the nails into the coffin. Labuschagne's catch of the series. So there's been some decent catches in this series.
Yeah, I think
was
is. Yeah,
really, really excellent. And Labuschagne's other one. Who did he catch in the first test or second test? That was a good one. Archer. I think it was Archer on the second morning of the second test. Yeah. But that like a proper stunner. Wrong hand, a couple of inches off the turf.
You kind of feel for Ollie Pope, don't you? Like it was his last, pretty much his last chance. So we're led to believe. So it looks really on paper, and it was still an outside edge and a genuine nick. But 99 times out of 100, maybe that falls just short or doesn't get taken. So he'll be feeling sorry for himself, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it's a cruel game. It's a cruel game.
Chips are down, things don't go your way.
I mean, do you think any of the England players realistically could have done a bit more? There are some starts in there. We just talked about Pope, Root 39, Brook 30.
Well, I think both Joe Root and Harry Brook could have done more. I mean, Zach Crawley 85 is probably a decent return for him. Let's be honest. You mentioned the being stumped on 85, and if you're going to be stumped on 85. You'd much rather see him trying to dance down the wicket and smack someone for 6 and be stumped than the way he did, kind of in a way. But yeah, if England were gonna do something ridiculous today, that they needed at least 1 century, probably 2, or someone with a double ton, which is pretty tough on a 4th and 5th day. But those guys were probably going to have to be Joe Root and Harry Brook, and they got starts, and they were looking all right. And yeah, they could. Yeah, if you get a start and you get in and you are either the best batter in the world at the moment or a generational talent, then you have to do a bit more to win games of cricket. And they didn't. But that, like I say, you do have to give a bit of credit to the bowlers that they're facing, because it's you never get the sense that England feel comfortable with the bat at any point. Someone will Cummins will come back and get Joe Root like he always does, or Stark will find a little bit more with the ball, or Nathan Lyon in this case as well will there was a lot of turn and bounce on offer. I agree with you about Harry Brook, by the way, as well. I think the reverse sweep ploy to Nathan Lyon that England do use quite a lot against other teams' lead spinners in these kinds of situations it works quite well. They they'll probably lose a wicket or two doing it, but they'll score runs and they will mess up the plans. I mean, they're not just being bowled at for the entire afternoon. So I don't really mind Harry Brook getting out to reverse sweep. It just looks really bad and will always look bad. So people will pick up on it. But yeah, you get a start, you need them to kick on, but not entirely their fault, is it? Because it's Australia, and Australia are better than them.
I kind of is their fault from earlier in the Test match. They're
They're not from today. From today.
Yeah. Today, England 7 out of 10, pushing 8 in the bowling. Like they were good. This Test match, England 4 out of 10 if they're lucky.
It was 2 until yesterday.
Absolute shambles of a team. It's like it's sort of one of those tests, isn't it, where like something good will happen, and if you're an England fan, you're like, oh, imagine if Josh Tongue had played the other 2 matches, maybe England would be 2-1 up now. Or imagine if Nathan Lyon was English, like how good would England
imagine if England had Bashir.
It's like today was one of those days. I mean, I said it. I said it yesterday, and I in a sense, or maybe I said it on Monday, and I regretted it a little bit. I said that there wasn't. I said Australia were better, but they weren't that much better than England. And maybe I should have said England are, incomprehensibly better than England. Like there's a planetary gulf in difference. But actually, today you look at it, and I think I'm a little bit more confident in the original thing I said, which was that this Australia team, they are better than England, but not ridiculously so. And what they keep doing, and you see this, to be honest, you see this a lot in Test match cricket. What they keep doing is winning the big moments, and when you get 2 teams where there's a difference in ability. England, it happens to a lot when England are at home. You'll have passages where England look bad, and then something will happen, and England will win the Test match. And I wouldn't go as far as saying Australia have looked bad at any point, really. But there were points today where you were like, okay, I can see that the skill gulf is maybe not as big as it sometimes feels. And then Australia will win a big moment. They'll bowl someone around their legs. They'll take a wonder catch. And as you can see why they're going to probably win this 5-0. Is there anything from, like, we've seen England's new tactic here. The Bazball's in the bin. This kid's careful batting all the way now. Is there anything from this day's performance that makes you think maybe the 5-0 can be averted?
Maybe, actually. If there's a bit of weather around at Sydney, for example, England have managed to take more time out of the game and, I don't know, make Australia work a bit harder for some wickets, and they've bowled all right as well. So I think I think it's brought the possibility of a draw into play more than it would have done in the past, and that's probably going to be England's best bet, isn't it? Barring a complete implosion, because Steve Smith will be back for the last two. Cummins doesn't look like he's having any issues whatsoever. Maybe Mitchell Starc will get a rest because he's not been as effective in this Test match, and Australia don't need to run him into the ground now because it's all done and wrapped up. But the other thing that makes me concerned that England won't have the opportunity to avoid 5-0 is that they'll probably start making some changes themselves. I think we're going to see Shahid Bashir, I reckon, come into the side. I expect we might see a bit of Jacob Bethel as well, in place of Ollie Pope, and mucking around with things at this time. Maybe it will do something to England and give them a bit more ballast in the batting, but I think it would just be more likely to compound their failure and result in even more problems. So I reckon from this point on, I would give 5-0 a 70% chance.
I think you're in the ballpark. I think you are in the ballpark. I think maybe it's a little bit less than that, but then you're certainly in the ballpark. I had a look at the weather. Somebody asked in the chat about the weather. There is, just for that person, there is a new function available on the internet called Google, which will allow you to look up things like what's the weather in Adelaide. That's a little tip for you, but I can, in this particular instance, talk about it myself. Probably not bad enough. Probably not bad enough to worry Australia, although it might rain overnight and it might actually rain into the morning. So if we're lucky, Max, when we turn our TVs on at 11:30 this morning, it will be raining and there'll be no point in watching.
And we can go to sleep and have a full night's sleep. Can we get a full night's sleep, Jack?
I tell you what, I am tired of this Test match. Why couldn't you do the 5-day Test match in the day-nighter when you could watch basically the whole day by getting up early? Why is this the one? Why is this the one that, with not really anything on the line, we've managed to push 5 days? Lose it in 3. Be gentlemen. That's what I'd say. There's another couple of chats that so we are moving towards the recriminations stage.
Yes.
Of
pace.
Yeah, we had one from a lot of lines. Do you think that the Stokes-McCullum pairing can still work if the selection, skill, coaching, preparation, etc., are majorly improved?
It's Trigger's broom, isn't it? That's what that is.
Yeah, go on.
No, I mean, I think what you could maybe pass that question down into should England carry on with the positive mindset, which I think you should. I mean, I think you can keep them on to bring the camaraderie and the positive atmosphere around the side, and keep that, and change all of the players, all of the coaches, and do some warm-up games, and then perfect model.
Yeah, there are some reasons to be somewhat hopeful that you can retain some of this and change other bits and be good. And I talked about this, I think, yesterday. Like the tactically and the positivity and the culture, I think, are all good things. But the wider strategy and who they're investing time in from a selection perspective is.
Yeah, really strange. But do you think we'll see changes? Let's assume it's 5-0. Do you think Stokes and McCullum will still be there, or do you think it will be more like the A Lot of Lions approach, and Stokes and McCullum will be in charge still, but we'll see like 8 different players in the side?
I don't think anything will happen immediately. I can't see.
You'll get
like,
McKinsey in to do a review of it all.
Yeah, well, no, I was thinking more like Roy Hodgson resigning on the toilet. I don't think that will happen. I think McCullum. There's a T20 World Cup coming up. England have got a decent sniff at that. Their T20 team's actually in not an awful place as usual. The bowling isn't great, but they've got some good batters, and they've got a few good batters with a bit of experience in India as well, and a coach with some experience in India. So I wouldn't be surprised if McCullum at least does that. It would be kind of a mad thing if he resigned just before an international tournament in a different format. So I think they'll get through that. Stokes, I think we'll have a think about it if it's 5-0.
Yeah.
And I would have thought would stay on. I think I've said this before. Basically, this podcast has been Jack talking about things that he said before. I think they will both stay on till 2027 because the Ashes that time round, just because of the age profile of the teams and because of obviously where it is, favours England more. I mean, like England should have won the last Ashes in England against a lot of those guys in their kind of peak age category. I feel like there's a reasonably small chance that Steve Smith is playing in that series. Usman Khawaja will be gone. There's a couple of other guys that are borderline on the age. Yeah, I mean Stark looks so good. I think I heard he was bowled the fastest he ever has in a Test match in terms of sustained speed.
We averaged over 90 miles an hour on the day where it was 40 degrees.
Well, yeah, like the guy is so fit. So I think Stark will be there, but he might be injured a bit more. Hazelwood might be injured a bit more. Hazelwood might not make it. Cummins is the wrong side of 30 now. Boland very much the wrong side of 30. Lyon the wrong side. You have to think that either because of injuries or through just the deterioration of ability related to age, England will be the favourites in 2027 in England. And they'd be the favourites. They would be it sounds crazy to say it, obviously, in the middle of a 5-0 drubbing. They would be the favourites to beat Australia in England if the series started. Maybe not tomorrow. It wouldn't be a lot of cricket if it started tomorrow.
Planning for 2027. That's what we're doing.
But no, like the conditions do play a big role in this. Australia are excellent. Apart from 2 series where they've lost to India, they've been pretty flawless. And even in the second series when they lost to India C, loads of stuff had to go India's way. It did, and they deserved to win those series. So for the India fans here, I'm not taking away your greatest achievement in Test cricket, but like it was quite a wacky series. Like people had to come in that nobody had ever heard of, like net bowlers, then have the best game of their life to give India a chance. And then these people have disappeared and never played for India again. Like they're not even in their IPL team. Like they're complete nobodies. But on that day, they were heroes.
What I'm hearing is that Shahbazir should be playing because he could be a hero.
Look, it would be quite funny, wouldn't it? I'm not sure there was a wider point I was making there. I think what I was saying really was that Australia are good and they're good against everyone. And England tried something different for 2 tests that failed. They're now trying conventional Test cricket, and that is failing slower.
Yeah, I do have one theory that maybe we could try because you know what you're saying yesterday about how the averages of batters against Australia or in Australia in the last 10 years, that no one is doing well. I think presumably there's something there, right, about batting in Australia and not growing up in it that means that you're not attuned to the way maybe the extra bounce or whatever it is that makes it difficult, that people find difficult to replicate and prepare for. Maybe slightly different to when someone goes to England and you can prepare a bit for a swinging ball, you can replicate those conditions, or even playing in the subcontinent, you can replicate playing balls that turn a lot. So maybe England should just exclusively pick a team of people who play in the Big Bash and go for
It's
a
not a
test,
bad idea.
a test 20 side. We'll have Sam Billings captaining, Tom Curran opening the bowling, and it's all going to be great. That's the plan for 2030.
That's true. The conditions are different. I think the other thing is, as opposed to most places you go in the world as well, the bowling is really, really good. Like, this is a really excellent generation of bowlers. It's like when India didn't. We were just talking about India against Australia. It's like when India didn't lose for a decade or lost 2 tests in a decade, whatever it was. It was partly because the conditions they'd gone a little bit avant-garde with how they were preparing surfaces, and it was much different to everywhere else in the world. It's also because they had the best off spinner of all time, and Jadeja played every test.
Yeah.
And Bumrah came through. And Ishant Sharma was excellent. Like, they had an amazing crop of bowlers for those conditions, which meant that
Plus Virat Kohli.
Yeah, and then like your bowlers don't have any experience bowling; they don't really know what they're doing. Yeah, you have to bowl to Virat Kohli, and Australia have got a similar dynamic here with Hazelwood, Cummins, Stark, and Lyon. Like,
yeah,
they
best
are
bowling attack since McGrath,
really
Warne, Lee era, isn't it? And
yeah, I would like to see a 5-test series South Africa v Australia in Australia. I think South Africa are the only other team in world cricket I think have got the quality and quantity of seam bowling and a decent spinner to consistently go toe to toe with the Australian attack at the moment. But I think their batting is probably off the pace. So I think they probably lose 5-0 anyway. Look, Max, we've got to do heroes and villains because you actually have to get going, don't you?
Yes, I do.
So hero of the day.
Hero of the day, I suppose Zach Crawley. Inexplicably, yeah, batted nicely, did well.
Fair enough. I'm going to say Marnus Labuschagne.
Yeah,
very difficult for Marnus to be a hero, but it was
villainous.
Excellent...
He ended Ollie Pope's career, so that's villainous behaviour. If you ask me.
It depends on your point of view, I think, on that one. Like, there's a whole assisted dying conversation happening in this country at the moment, and depending, I think, on which side of the debate you lie on there, you actually might look at what Labuschagne did to Pope as somewhat heroic.
Okay,
I'd say, yeah, but
great.
A
retrospective villain shout for Marnus Labuschagne for yesterday for his chat while Nathan Lyon was bowling. I don't know if you've seen that clip on Instagram or anywhere, but my God,
awful.
What was it? Give him the shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah, like Marnus Labuschagne is the most irritating man in cricket, but that doesn't preclude him from occasional moments of absolute joy. Fine. So he gets, for once in his life, maybe he gets to be the hero, as David Bowie, to paraphrase David Bowie. Villain.
I did have one this morning. I've forgotten it, so I'm just gonna have to go to Ben Duckett for his shot because it was really bad.
It was so bad, wasn't it? I'm always really gutting about that from an emotional perspective. Like, just seeing England do the good thing. We've been waiting. It was the day 1 of the series. England were pretty good with the ball. And what are we now? Day 9? They took them 8 more days to be good. And they were good. And like, they're still going to lose, obviously. But at least they've given you the illusion of hope. They can't even last 2 overs to lunch. Preserve that. Like, people could have gone across the UK, England. People could have gone to bed happy, not knowing like that they were about to lose. But as soon as Duckett's gone, you're like, oh well, it's just a question of when now, isn't it? Like, there's no. So Duckett's a good shout there. Right, we're going to wrap up there. Thanks very much for listening and watching, everyone. Do remember to click like and subscribe wherever you are following along. Make sure you leave a review on Spotify. Make sure you follow us on social media at The Cricket Pod. Make sure you tell your friends. Share the podcast far and wide. Goodbye.
Goodbye.